Aha, fooled you all. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I am your host, Phil. Let's take a look at the stories we are going to be reviewing today. So, first, Visa quietly building its stablecoin Moat. Well, if you understood anything about Visa, you already knew that this is no surprise. However, we're going to dive into how they're actually doing it. Not that I think we need any hopium today, right now, as we're pumping and Bitcoin's dead at 117. But we got some hopium anyways. We've got some solid green, red chart from Wicked, and also some words from Dr. Jeff, which to me are significant because I remember listening to Dr. Jeff last year making predictions in our Good Morning Bitcoin spaces. So we're going to review his comments. The UK government, 61,000 BTC, huh? Little bit of a dilemma. Some people think they're going to sell. Other people are thinking, hey, why don't they just give the Bitcoin back to the people who got scammed? Yeah, the government's, they like the people, but they don't love the people. Anyways, Bank of England, CBDC, digital ID. They kind of failed on that messaging, didn't they? FTX repayment begin. What does this mean for Bitcoiners? I wish I had the crickets audio. Anyways, we're going to take a look at an actual company that is saving in Bitcoin. I know, sounds crazy, right? We're going to take a look at that. Bitcoin, a Bitcoin rights bill. I mean, I feel like I've been using Bitcoin already. And if there is some time, we're going to take a look at the new features of the Coldcard. And if you're looking for a KYC free VPN that you can pay for with Lightning, have no fear, we're going to review that as well. But as you guys know, before we do any of that stuff, we're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor. We're going to be right back to dive into all these stories. Let's effing go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Okay, let's dive right into it. I know, I'm not going to start with the hopium right away, all right? We're gonna do that in a second. First, we're going to take a look at Visa's ridiculousness. So, Visa Direct taps stable coins to unlock faster funding for businesses. Get ready for the revolution, guys. Visa announced it will launch a stablecoin pre-funding pilot through Visa Direct. For decades, moving money across borders has depended on slow, costly systems that tie up capital in advance. With this pilot, Visa Direct is testing stablecoins, ooh, the innovation, as a new funding source. So new. The goal, reduce friction, unlock faster access to liquidity, and give financial institutions more flexibility in how they manage their global payouts. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I've been able to send Bitcoin around the world since I got into it, close to 10 years ago. Anyways, it's okay. We're going to keep pretending this is fun. So how does this pilot work? Stablecoin pre-funding. Businesses pre-fund Visa Direct with stablecoins instead of fiat to cover payouts. Visa treats those stablecoins as money in the bank. No way. Making funds available for payout. It's kind of crazy too, because Visa does that anyways with their payment network, right? That the payment network essentially is pretending that money is moving around and then it settles after the fact. So let's continue pretending, but with stable coins. Yay. Who it's for? It's for banks. It's not for you. It's not for me. It's for the banks. Banks, remitters, financial institutions that need faster, more flexible ways to manage liquidity across borders. Visa is working with select partners that meet the pilot criteria, and they're going to expand that pilot into 2026. So good job, Visa, on, accepting stable coins and moving them around. Yes. Okay. Anyways, not so fun, but Visa's trying, right? Visa's trying. This is no surprise, right? Visa and MasterCard, they have the two biggest payment networks in the world, while payment networks like Amex and Discover and what's that other one there? The global payment, I forget what they're called, GBT or whatever. Anyways, those companies all kind of fight over this like 1 to 3% of the payment networks. It's no surprise, right? So they cannot lose their relevancy. They have the biggest moat when it comes to facilitating payments and the size of their payment networks. It's only natural that they're going to move into this. So nobody should be surprised. Anyways, moving on, guys. Let's take a look at some Hopium. That's right. Wicked. I always love the Hopium charts from Wicked. So unless we get a massive surge in price by the end of the year, which is looking pretty good today. It's looking pretty good. We're almost at 118K while we're doing this show. I don't see how 2026 won't be another green year. Will the green, red pattern hold? Or are we entering a new green pattern? Guys, look at that. So bullish, right? I love stuff like this. But of course, I just I don't stick to it, right? Like if this doesn't happen, like my dreams aren't shattered, right? It's because it's just solid Hopium. Anyway, it's just good stuff to keep in the back of your mind. But somebody has a different take on this Hopium. That's right, guys. Dr. Jeff, who was around. So last year, okay, I feel like Dr. Jeff took a bit of a hiatus from the Twitters. And last year he was in our Good Morning Bitcoin space. And I believe his prediction was for this cycle was approximately 472K, which sounds a whole lot better than Josh Mandel's 444, but of course doesn't have the same ring, as the 3 4s. However, let's see what Dr. Jeff is saying now.
$1,000 right now. It should be well above that based on the liquidity metrics I follow. Very surprised that it's not there, but I think again it's being held down by the economy. I think once the most market participants believe that the U.S. economy is finally starting to surge, I think the price of Bitcoin will skyrocket at that point. So that's just my personal take, is it's going to make up for lost time. It leaves me very bullish with where we are. Like I said earlier, for the next 6 months or so, I'm actually very bullish. If you would have asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said we'd almost be at the peak of this business cycle, but we haven't even started yet. And so there's a chance we either have this massive surge higher in a short amount of time in Q4 and we still maintain these 4-year cycles, or more likely what it's looking like to me is the cycle extends into the first half of 2026 somewhere, which to me would mean the Bitcoin peak would probably extend and happen somewhere in the first half of 2026. One other thing I want to bring up is because everybody knows that global M2 and liquidity lead the price of Bitcoin, something that I've noticed, however, is that at cycle peaks of Bitcoin price, the price of Bitcoin actually leads those other factors. So I would caution people to be very careful. What I've noticed from past cycles is that even though global M2 is still rising and kind of looking toppy, like the rate of change is starting to slow down a little bit, even though the economy is revved up and PMIs are sitting around 60 or so, and everybody is super bullish, that's usually about the time Bitcoin peaks. So I would be...
Okay. That was pretty good. Think I'm done. All right, guys, have a good day. I think we're done. It's gonna be massive. Let's do it. Yeah, it's so it's wonderful. It's wonderful to hear that kind of stuff. All right, Dr. Jeff, I'm with you. I'm still bullish. Let's freaking do this. And like General Hoover said, let's go to a bajillion for sure. I know, right? For sure. Like almost there. Yeah, exactly. Torup, touch grass. This is true. All right, that way we don't wreck ourselves. Okay, let's continue. We've got some more news. We got some more news to cover, and we are going to dive right into it. Look, I think everybody saw this already. This is the Chinese woman that was convicted after the world's biggest Bitcoin seizure, right? So. Yadi Zhang had pled guilty to illegally acquiring $6.7 billion in Bitcoin. Police have the possession of the 61K BTC. This is the fun part, though, right? Her lawyer says victims can now be repaid. The UK government's like, hold on a second. because there's more than sufficient funds available. Reports suggest the UK government may try to keep the BTC, instantly creating the world's third largest national strategic Bitcoin reserve. New UK crime laws have expanded state powers to seize and hold crypto assets while allowing victims to petition for recovery. Isn't that nice to be a little peon and to beg for your own money back that was scammed? Isn't the government supposed to work for the people, right? Aren't they supposed to be working for us? The other piece to it is this. If you're surprised for a split second that the government would choose to keep that Bitcoin and or sell it and keep whatever they get from it, you're not paying attention. There's not, honestly, with the exception of like El Salvador, which even that kind of gets questioned, I haven't seen a single country actually buy Bitcoin. They're just really, really good at stealing it because I know this sounds crazy, but guess who has the means to control violence? The state. No way. They don't have to give any of it back. They can just simply keep it. They seize it, they confiscate it. Now it's their Bitcoin. I don't see governments actually getting any Bitcoin, but yeah. Is the UK going to do it? Are they going to hang on to that 61K Bitcoin? Based on some of the comments from Keir Starmer, I don't know. I'm not so enthusiastic. Well, I shouldn't even say enthusiastic, right? Because why the hell do we want the state holding Bitcoin anyways? Maybe we do want them to get rid of it. I personally wouldn't care, right? My own stack is not affected by the UK, so who cares? Anyways, moving on. There is some more state dystopia. Let's keep going. Bank of England. That's right. They did the meme. Bank of England did the meme. So Bank of England has upheld its refusal to release documents on the link between CBDCs and a digital ID system. So the key points from the bank decision, this is the best part. This is where they did the meme. The bank claims releasing even redacted versions would inhibit free and frank discussion and prejudice the effective conduct of public affairs. Those are just words. That doesn't mean anything. What they're telling you is that if they actually told you the truth, you would react. Oh no, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Anyways, this is the best part. The bank insists, okay? The bank insists the public interest is already served. Sit down, peon. You've already been served, okay? By selected research it is chosen to publish, such as its report with MIT on enhancing the privacy of a digital pound. They did this meme, guys. They did this meme. Silence. The government is talking. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's such gaslighting. They don't give a shit. Oh, it's fantastic. It's interesting when people get in power, right? It's interesting. Not everybody, of course, right? Some people actually know themselves and are fully aware of the variations, right? Cycling between greed and fear and all that stuff inside themselves, right? They're self-aware, but I don't know. The people who desire to govern their fellow man, I've always said this, and it's not my quote, it's from somebody else, but it is not the noblest of people who desire to govern their fellow humans. Sorry. Like you should desire to control yourself, not others. All right, moving on, guys. Bank of England, not going to make it. They're doing the meme. We're going to take a look at the FTX repayments. So if you were here last cycle, you remember that FTX kind of shit the bed and ruined it for all of us on purpose. China kind of did it first, but then they summoned Sam Bankman-Fried. They were like, release the Kraken, and then he did this terrible thing. So yeah, guys, FTX Recovery Trust will send 1.6 billion in stables to creditors today at 8 p.m. That was yesterday, and they're going to distribute a total of 16.5 billion. Now, one could be said, a good portion of those stable coins were just sold straight up for fiat. However, when we're looking at Bitcoin's chart today, maybe some of those guys were super excited to finally get some Bitcoin. That could be it. All right, moving on. All right, yeah, let's take a look at this, the real treasury stuff. Shout out to Toxicat over here. The only Bitcoin treasury strategies you should be cheering on. Positive cash flow businesses holding Bitcoin for the long term, not the debt-fueled Ponzi BS. Obviously, I agree with you. I say the same thing. And it is this company here. It is permissibles.com, and they make tallow, right? And look at that. They're just simply stacking whatever BTC they can. Look, we purchased, what is that? 87, what is that? 87,000 sats, right? 87,434 sats. Good job, guys. You know, this is, you know, it's kind of funny. Like a couple of cycles ago, we were all cheering our little stacks, right? We were all happy that we were finally accumulating Bitcoin because we finally understood what was happening to our money. So good stuff for these guys, right? Like they're doing it right. They are not trying to use this, in my eyes, as the dog and pony show, and I appreciate it. Good stuff, permissibles.com. Okay, let's move on here. We've got some more stuff. Boom. Oh, yeah. Maybe somebody can help me with this one. Maybe somebody can help with this one. Wisconsin lawmakers introduce Bill of Rights. It's a Bitcoin rights bill. It exempts self-custody nodes, mining, staking, and staking. Staking has nothing to do with Bitcoin. You see where you see how like none of this really has to do with Bitcoin, right? Like you're using Bitcoin anyways. Did you need some special Bill of Rights for self-custody? It's a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope, and this is the type of shit. This is the type of stuff that leads to more dystopianism and more tyranny. They're going to put these laws into place. Now all of a sudden, there's a precedent, right? There's some type of a precedent for people maybe not doing self-custody in the way that the state has defined. Maybe not running your node in the way that the state has defined. Maybe you're not mining the way that the state has defined. Very slippery slope, all this stupid regulation. You know, it's kind of funny as monkeys, you know, we used to just throw rocks at each other and stuff like that, and throw poop, actually, right? That's what monkeys do. But now we just throw ink on paper. So that's where we're at. That's where it is, the ink on the paper. Okay, let's dive into some more fun stuff here. Guys, if you are looking for a KYC-free VPN, yeah, because I wanted to start putting in some stuff about the actual tech, right? Like not just always covering this mainstream type of nonsense. So here we go, guys. There is this awesome website over here, the lnvpn.net. Okay. Get VPNs, get eSIMs, Bitcoin payments, no KYC. Right? This is what it's all about, guys. This is really what it's all about. These are tools that help enable personal freedom. This is what I'm excited about. It's good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Okay. Moving on from this, we're going to take a look at the new cold card features, right? There was 3 features that were announced yesterday, but really it's these 2 main ones that really do it for me. The single sig spending policies, 2FA, that to me is what it's all about. I mean, the majority of, I shouldn't say the majority, but there's a few wallets, right? A few signing devices that currently have this 2FA, but I really like the spending policies. It reminds me of there was this integration that that Coldcard did with your node called CK Bunker once upon a time, and I feel like this is the evolution of CK Bunker, right? So you can now reconfigure your existing Coldcard with a policy so it will refuse to sign transactions that are too large, too frequent, or sent to an address not on your whitelist. I got to tell you, features like this, right, just make $5 wrench attacks way less alluring for criminals, and it actually points them to coming up with more inventive type of schemes, right? Such as grifting you with a shitcoin. And what's the next one over here? So they've also added, right, 2FA authentication. So yeah, just I don't think anybody doesn't know this, but I just want to make sure, right, that that you guys do. But when it comes to 2FA, right, you shouldn't be using the text message 2FA. If you're going to use 2FA, make sure you're using the apps, like the actual apps, like Google Authenticator or Authy, but at the same time, make sure that you have your cloud. If you're backing up to the cloud, make sure you have that turned off. Okay, because essentially what that's doing is it's just backing up access to all of that 2FA, all of your 2FA stuff to the cloud, which means if somebody hacks your account and you have it, let's say for Google Authenticator, for example, let's say you have that connected to your account, you know exactly what's about to happen, right? They're just going to sit there and be able to, once they hack your account, boom, they've now got access to your 2FA. So that's freaking brutal. But yeah, either way, I wasn't trying to make that a bad thing. It's a good thing, right? They've got some new features to the Coldcard and KYC-free VPN. Guys, that's going to do it for us for today. I will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. I hope this pump continues. See you tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. Oh, wait. Hold on. Got some questions here. People are, what? What hair? My hair? No way. Torp? I don't think so. How could you be jealous of this hair? I'm jealous of other people's hair. Anyways, all right, guys. Take it easy. I'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you, Bunny.